We are at Yellowstone National Park, and we are on the Upper Terraces, and I want to focus in on what you're looking at up here and kind of point in that the water is flowing, which is important because that's what gives the different colors, because it gives life to heat-loving bacteria, and the colors represent the heat. This is all travertine, which used to be limestone, and the various different terraces of Mammoth Hot Springs are completely different than anything else that you'll see in Yellowstone. Here's why. That rock in Yellowstone is made out of rhyolitic material, which is volcanic and very high in silica. Instead, you've got a marine rock layer right here that's been reworked because of groundwater that's precipitated out calcium carbonate and created travertine. So pretty interesting place, because these are terraces change on a daily basis based on wherever groundwater finds an exit point. And you can see this one's flowing pretty well. So more to come from Yellowstone. See you at the next stop. This is Old Faithful. We're going to get to see it. We're up for our third time, and it just never gets old. Pretty exciting. So it's a cone geyser, not a fountain geyser. And it erupts about every 90 minutes. So lucky you, lucky us. We're happy. Some good eruptions this morning at Yellowstone National Park in the Upper Basin. Important you know that Old Faithful is Upper Basin and not in Norris Geyser Basin. More to come. See you at the next stop. Bye. We're at Artist Paint Pots up near Norris Geyser Basin, just north of the junction from Madison. And these are unique features because paint pots, or mud pots in this case, actually cause the ground to get very acidic, and they throw up mud like you're seeing here. That's where they get their names. This left one's a little bit more active than this one right here, but take a look at the integrity of the ground and notice that it's decaying. This would be one of the last places you'd want to get in the park, except next to a fumarole that's really hot. This is a fountain geyser called Vixen, V-I-X-E-N, in the lower basin of Norris Geyser Basin, Yellowstone National Park. This fountain geyser is having a series of eruptions. Just as we were walking around the trail, it started going off, and it's been going on now for a good 5 minutes, having a lot of activity. But I want to point out that there is no cone. There could be in the future with enough buildup of geyserite. Geyserite is that high silica rich material that develops at the surface here. But geyser eruptions like this are important to understanding how the inside of the earth works, because we're kind of getting a glimpse into the heat thermal energy that's coming from this big giant magma chamber that exists under Yellowstone. We are at Mammoth Geyser in Norris Geyser Basin. Well, I want to point out this is called an extinct geyser. It's really not. Here's what happened. In the early 1900s, this is a stagecoach stop for people, and they put money and coins in here as a wishing well moment. This used to be a much more grand geyser than it is today. But periodically, it erupts like it is right now. I mean, how lucky could we be to be able to see this? Usually it's just a pool geyser that's just sitting here inactive, and you've been fortunate enough to see it in action. So, lessons learned from this. This is a pool geyser. It does have very small eruptions like it's having right now, but its plumbing's clogged in order to be able to have large eruptions. This is not all there is to Mammoth Geyser. I'm going to come over here and get the other stuff in it. This whole section used to be active, but it's no longer the case where it is as active as it was. This whole big section here used to be Mammoth Geyser. So, more to come from Yellowstone National Park. Greetings, geologists from Norris Geyser Basin. I'm taking this shot for a reason. This is just about where Pearl Geyser is, right over here. And I want to tell you, they had to move the boardwalk. I can remember even 15 or 20 years ago, it was hard to get back here because the boardwalk would be closed. And because it got burned up, because the ground was so hot and it was burning people's shoes as they were walking over the boardwalk at Pearl Geyser, which is right in this area. You might notice how dead the trees are. That's from temperature and pH. Norris Geyser Basin is the most acidic thermal region of the park. So important place to notice that they had to rework the boardwalk simply because of heat and pH. This is a fumarole where a hot spring burns off its water. We're at mud pots, or artist mud pots. This is fishing cone. There's several of them along the lake here at Yellowstone National Park and Great Thumb Geyser Basin. This one's underwater right now simply because during the summer the lake level rises because of snowmelt and rainwater. So during the winter this thing becomes exposed. Since the lake water rests at about 45 degrees Fahrenheit, you can catch fish in it like trout, and in the old days they would catch these trout and then throw them into these geysers, and since they were boiling they would cook them on the spot. So it's 199 degrees Fahrenheit, and if you can do the math you may be asking yourself, is that boiling, is it not? You can think about that for a minute and then ask me, why could it be boiling if it is or is not at the boiling temperature? That's a discussion we need to have. It has to do with elevation. That's what I'll let you know in on that. But nevertheless, it's dangerous to do this type of thing. So if you were out in the wild and came across one of these, be very, very cautious. It's not allowed in the park anymore because it's dangerous and people get injured and scalded. So not lawful to do here, anywhere in the park. Welcome, geologists, to Yellowstone National Park. We are at Sulphur Caldron, and you can see the bubbling pot in the middle there. This is the absolute most acidic part of the park. It rests at a pH of 1. That is 10 times more acidic than lemon juice. So when you get acid released, that's where hydrogen is released, and then you get it removed by alkaline substances. So this is definitely on the acidic side of the pH scale, sitting at a 1. It brews with a lot of microorganisms, but apparently not just microorganisms. We have a buffalo hanging out in the neighborhood today. They're everywhere out here on the hills. But this one's enjoying the warm sunshine on the thermal feature that we have. I want to come over here. I'll keep the Buffy in the video for a minute. And see all the yellow? That's the sulfur that has deposited out from the sulfuric acid coming directly out of the Caldron, right here. So this thing is literally bubbling sulfuric acid, the most dangerous part of the park, and I might add the most active geologic part of the park. We are right on top of the magma chamber, and this is a good look at what's happening inside the earth, that we got this thermal feature that's a result of this hot magma chamber.